You're coming here, well, coming to Niagara Falls, September 20th. Um,
Yeah.
Now being from Timmins, you've got, a few Canada days lined up. Niagara Falls, I believe, being the last of them currently on the
hmm
the list right now. What can people expect from that show?
Ooh, I love that you dropped the Timmins line. It's funny because I move a lot, so Timmins is where I was born, but I'm from all over Ontario region and
Okay.
been to Buffalo a million times, so
Yeah.
it's all feels like home to me. But we did do a lot of Canadian dates this summer, and
Mhm.
it was sort of like a version. It was like a festival version of our tour. We wrapped up the tour last month.
Mhm.
Um, but I've been brainstorming how I can do something totally different at the Niagara show.
Mhm.
And I think I'm going to add in a couple songs from A6, my new record that I haven't played yet.
Nice.
I want to play them all. I want to play them
Mhm.
all. And we played like eight. I think we've been playing like eight of them, seven or eight. So I'm going to be playing a couple new ones at that show that no one's heard live before. So it'll be a night of firsts for a few things.
Awesome.
So I'm going to switch things up a little bit and try to make it a special set for that show.
That's really cool. And you mentioned A6. How did that come together? What was the process of that, like putting that record together?
A6 was extra special because I did produce the whole thing myself.
Mhm.
I've been on and off sort of producing stuff for my releases over the course of years, but this is my first album that I had full control of, full autonomy, full my power in the minutia. Like I literally down to each breath and bed track of I'd record the air and put the bed tracks in from whether it was in Berlin where I kind of wrapped up a lot of the production to the street at night here, I was able to just put in a lot of really personal elements
Mhm.
that I don't think I would have in previous sessions. Previous sessions, you get in a room, you sit down with maybe a writer or producer you've never met before, and you try to figure out how to become personal within 2 hours.
Mhm.
And you have about 2 days together, and then the song's done. So you don't get to go back and fix things. You don't get to add, you don't get to let it evolve necessarily in the way that you hoped. So this album it's very personal and very intentional and very well thought out. And it is the first time I've owned my masters. I am mo mostly independent through a distribution deal with the major label. So it's kind of the first time I've really felt such ownership over my project. So it's very special, very fun to play. I got to do everything the way that I wanted. I don't have to sit down and have a meeting about which songs are allowed to make it. I just get to decide. So it's the most lights you're going to get on a record.
Nice. And it being so personal to you, where did you pull inspiration from for it?
I was talking about this yesterday, sort of like the trajectory of what my albums represent through my
Mhm.
life. And they're all kind of like, in a sentence, what I'm going through at that period in time. Like Siberia was about me falling in love for the first time, and Little Machines was about becoming mother. And Skin and Earth was the concept album with the comic through my own experience. That was my own experiences. It was through the lens of the characters in the comic. Um, then Pep was kind of about sexual empowerment, learning to find my autonomy as a person in where I grew up religious and learning to separate from that. And A6 is almost like a reflective look on look back on all the things that I've learned about myself through all those journeys and everything I've learned about making music and everything I've learned about loving life or the things that are hard about life or the things that are hard about love or the things that are hard about parenting. Like I think it's a really intimate look at some of these concepts that I was really digging into because I was alone when I was writing them and
Mhm.
nobody was there to question what I was saying or if it meant something to somebody else. It meant so much to me. So it has this sort of nostalgic feel to it, but still feels new. It has a lot of this, it's a combination of all the sounds that I love now with a hint of the person that I used to be. So it's a little bit melancholy in that way. I think all my music is, but
Now, in terms of your audio art and your visual art, what similarities and differences do you see between those two? Like, doing your graphic novels, obviously tattoos. Like where
you
do
know your
you
stuff.
but do you tend to pull from the same sources of inspiration, or do you um is it a little bit different when it comes to a visual medium?
It's different, and I think that's why I like doing it because it doesn't feel like the same effort. Like music is definitely from so deep within. Like
Mhm.
that would probably be the most heartfelt of the type of art that I do. Whereas the comic and telling stories is more it more appeals to my sense of wonder and world building and like the my love for fantasy and creating and Easter egging and oh, don't mind me.
No worries.
It's balanced on a cup and a water bottle. Um, it appeals to the nerd elements that I love, the
Hmm.
comics that I love, the reading and the video games I love playing. So
Hmm.
it's less about um maybe my own heart and thoughts, but more about a commentary on the human experience
Hmm.
or a social commentary mixed in with world building, and that literally that juices another side of my creativity, and that's very fun for me. And with
That's
tattooing, it's very based on like aesthetic or trend or what's cool or what I want to practice drawing. So everything does pull from different parts of my creative well, but it all contributes in the end. Like it all makes me better at the other thing. And I think that's
mhm.
what's cool about I always encourage people to try different forms of art because it is only going to make the other one better, but it will show you another facet of a creator that you are.
That's really cool. I really like that philosophy behind it.
Yeah. Do you do art or have any creative outlets?
I do, yeah, I like to do a lot of visual art in terms of
Cool.
like design, in
Cool.
addition to a lot of the writing I do. So
Do you find that those are pulling from different places?
I do, yeah, like kind of similar to what you said in terms of I don't know, the writing is more pulling from like deeper within, whereas like the
Yeah.
visual is more, I guess, the creative, fun, exciting. I don't know. It is kind of what you said about music versus visual. The writing's
Yeah.
more from like melancholic or like even
I love that.
um more I don't want to say educational, but like
Oh, 100%. I know exactly what you
deeper.
mean though.
Yeah.
You're
And
teaching through it in
then
a way.
the visuals more of a, yeah, oh, I watched this movie when I was a kid. I got inspired by that. I've read this comic
Yeah.
book when I was a kid, whatever it was.
Yes.
But it's things like that. And that's kind of what I, but even stuff I watch now or read now or whatever. Yeah, I guess that's where I would pull from.
I
So
love
yeah,
that.
so everything you just said makes a lot of sense.
But yet it does lend to, I do think like even doing visual art can lend to a writing skill in some ways, like the way that
Mhm.
it's built and layered in and the way that it kind of crescendos and
Yeah,
changes. Well,
absolutely.
I love that.
Now, this show is going to be in Niagara Falls, Canada. You were on the other side of the border in Buffalo for a show with the beaches and the trees in
Yeah,
June at the AKG Art Museum. How was that show?
that was awesome. I think it was our first show after the tour and after everything. And it was awesome. It was a blast. The museum's beautiful and I love the beaches and it was a beautiful day. And we were sound checking and I just remember I was sound checking my song Piranha and I could see these birds like fighting in the air. And I was like, it just felt so like synchronized and like life was in the right place at the right time. Um, and it's fun. It's always an opportunity to win new people when you're playing for people that maybe wouldn't otherwise come to a show or maybe never heard of you or came for the headliner. And it really helps get your chops up too. You're playing for people that don't know the stuff, so they're just watching sometimes. And I love doing that. It's such a stark contrast to coming off my Toronto show a week before, right?
Right.
It was a really good experience. It got me kind of in the mood for the summer shows,
Mhm.
which are just wrapping up this coming weekend, and um, they only make you better at performing and playing and deciding how you want to present your art to people who would otherwise not maybe have seen it because it is easy to play for fans. It's
Right.
super easy to play for fans who are no, you just have to sing it along. You give them a mic, you make a mistake, they're going to sing it for you. I've done that. But when there's a lot of new people in the crowd, it's a whole other exciting chance to just go. Here's what we got, and by the end, I want to make you a fan.
That's awesome. And last week I spoke with Kaisa, who is playing in Buffalo next week.
Yeah.
And I asked her if playing in Buffalo, because she's also Canadian, if playing in Buffalo feels like home a little bit because of like the proximity to the border. So I want to ask you the same thing. Um,
What did she say?
she said,
Or are you gonna tell me after?
I'm trying to think what she said now. Um, She said, yeah, she said like a little bit, and she's got like friends in Buffalo that she was like excited to visit, and just because everything is so close, I feel like.
Yeah. You know
So
what?
yeah.
It's funny. Like, I think it is similar. Like, there's like a kinship with the Canadians, I think, in Buffalo.
Hmm.
I think a lot of like radio service trickles over and some of the same music carries in, but I do still
Hmm.
think it's a totally different thing.
Hmm.
It feels like because for me, I mean, I've seen bands that are just super massive in Canada go to Buffalo and play to 100 people. Like it's
Right.
still a different place.
Right.
And I think that's exciting, like it's it's still another place to win. I think there's no assumption that it's going to be they're going to be there for you. You still have to win people. And I think that's something cool about art and being always wanting to grow. Like I've been doing this for a long time and I still want to get better and like keep trying and keep winning people. And my new music is a little bit different than my other stuff. So it's like here's the new version of what you might think you know about me is different. So it's always a chance to show people what you've got. And there's never the assumption that they're gonna love it. And I felt that in Buffalo for sure. I've like played in Buffalo for years, and every time I go, I'm like, I gotta win them. Let's go. Let's have the best time ever. But that's how you should feel before a show.
Hmm. We were talking about the tour earlier, and now it's kind of a couple of months detached from that. And you said, you're going to try to play some other songs from A6. But I guess looking back at the summer at the tour, how do you feel about it?
Amazing. I feel so amazing. I feel like it's been this slow build that's been really exciting that finally feels like I get to do the set that I want to. It's not that I didn't before, but I think every year I get closer to the artist that I know that I am and here. It just
Hmm.
comes down to manifesting it physically and getting my skill set up to where I know that it can be and always trying to be closer to the authentic version of the artist that I am. Because, I've written songs in the past where I'm with another producer and they come up with a line here, somebody comes up with a line here, and I feel less ownership over maybe that line because it was teamwork, it was a teamwork line. And now I'm just like, this is me, this is who I am, and I'm getting closer and closer to I'll never get there actually. I'll probably never get there. And that's what artistry is, I think.
Yeah.
I
And
think, you look at someone like Paul McCartney and he would always say, like, yeah, I'm nowhere near the musician I want to be. And he's an incredible musician. He's probably most successful, talented musician, one of the most successful, talented musicians in history. And he's like, I'm nowhere near the musician I want to be. So I think I look back at the tour and I look back at the videos and I'm so proud. I'm so proud to see the journey that I've been on, especially now that A6 is really dealing with a lot of, like I said, a lot of nostalgic ideas. I'm bringing in a lot of Easter eggs from like past music.
hmm
I reference lyrics from like the first album, and there's little nods to previous work, and to be here after 6 records with a lot of the same fans still with me, growing with me, I'm really lucky,
hmm
and I'm really proud that I can take all of that early music and tie it in, and and still be leaning towards something even better for next time. I'm proud, but we can always go harder.
We're always striving for more. Yeah. So
Always striving for more.
that's what you can't really ask for anything more than always having like a goal, always looking to do better. I find that, it's a good mentality to have.
It is. Like every show, I'll watch videos back and I'll go next sound check and I pull up my phone and I'm like, this needs to change. You could do a delayed throw here. I'm like really invested in how it looks and sounds and feels. It should. I really want to I want to be everything that I know that I can offer. And so at the Niagara show, like there's a couple songs that I've really wanted to play this whole time. You can't, put an album out and only play it. You have to
Right.
really balance it. So I'm excited to bring out a couple new ones.
Cool. Well, that's all I have for you. Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like the people of Niagara Falls and Western New York to know?
Are you coming to the show?
I'd love to.
You should come. I'd love to have you and you can check it out.
Awesome.
And yeah, we'll do a shot.
Okay. Sounds good. Well,
Sounds good.
Lights, thank you so much for taking the time today to speak with me again. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for everything, Adam.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining me.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.